But so yeah, lots of cool stuff going on in technology. And if you guys, have any throughout the week, if you see any, innovative, cool technologies that you want to share with me, you know, give me a call or fire me an email and let me know what you'd like to talk about. If it's along lines, you might kind of get the idea about what I'm talking about and that sort of thing. So let's go on to this section of the show here, which is a viewer question section. So over the last week, I got asked this question, which was how to perform disaster recovery on a Windows NTFS or FAT file system. So my recommendation, and I'm sure we'll get a lot more from the people out of in the chat here, but my recommendation is to use a Knoppix boot CD and or a Trinity Rescue Kit, which is a Linux live CD boot disk. There's a couple other Windows distributions, Mini PE or Heron boot CD 9.5. Now I've used all of the above, but I've had most success using Knoppix and the Trinity Rescue disk. I recently had some success using the Mini PE distribution and that sort of thing. So Knoppix, what it is, it's a Linux boot CD that has a collection, if not hundreds of thousands, of open source security tools built into this live Linux distribution. So that means that it's a bootable disk that you can just put into your computer, boot off of this disk, and then run the native operating system without changing the native operating system on the computer, and use this to perform things like backup data to an external USB drive, or potentially crack or change an unknown password on that Windows NT system or Windows 98 system. That's also something that this Trinity. So let me just throw this link into chat here, which is it's at knoppix-std.org. If anyone wants to check that out, and I'm going to throw a few more links into chat here. So also Trinity Rescue Kit is another live Linux distribution designed to recover and repair dead Windows systems, also Linux systems. It can also reset a lost or forgotten password. It can clone NTFS drives and also recover lost or deleted files and or lost or deleted partitions. So trinityhome.org is a great tool there. So if you're using one of these tools to just crack your Windows password, there's also a tool here called oafcrack. Now I haven't used this tool, but what it is, oafcrack is a Windows password cracker based on rainbow tables, and it's very efficient. I guess the way they throw together these tables, but it has a graphical user interface, and it runs on Windows or Mac OS X as well as Linux. And you can find that at this oafcrack.sourceforge.net. And then let me throw out the links for this Mini PE. So Mini PE is something similar. I know this is a lot of information I'm throwing out, but if anyone's interested in talking about this further, disaster recovery, I've used most of these tools, and it's really like when you've lost a hard drive and the poop is hitting the fan, you're like, oh shoot, I just lost 20 hours of work, and I need to get back into the system. These tools can save your ass. So Mini PE is basically a Windows XP CD that allows you to fix your operating system, to get rid of like a virus, fix corrupt disk drives, also connect to remote computers, and or do things like I said, also copy stuff to an external USB drive if you're just in purely a disaster recovery mode and you may have to reload the operating system. And I'll put all these links in some show notes and post them up on HiWEB.net as well. So, and one other last one I wanted to share here is called Hiren. Hiren's boot CD. It can be, information on it can be found here. Now this CD contains like 100 or more tools that are mostly wares, but it's a bootable CD that you can also boot off of it and use it to do things, like disk cloning, image tools, data recovery tools, master boot record tools, BIOS tools, and that sort of thing. So that's the viewer question for this week. I know I gave you lots of answers but it's disaster recovery on a Windows NTFS or FAT file system. I recommend the Knoppix-STD first, the Linux distribution, for just doing purely disaster recovery, meaning getting as much data off of that drive as you can before you have to reload an operating system on it. Some other tools you might use for this, there's a tool called SpinRite. That's a commercial tool. If you have a bad drive, you might load up SpinRite and use that. So if anyone has any viewer questions that they'd like me to answer or dig into for next week, I'd appreciate if you email them to live@hiweb.net. So with question in the subject line, that'll help me find that quickly as a question that we can share on future shows. So let's move on.